Am I the asshole for walking out on the girl I was supposed to be touring around the school? I 16F was chosen by my school principal to tour a new girl named Fatima 16F around the school and hang out with her for the day. I had a majority of my classes with her, so the school principal decided I could help her out a bit. While we were walking to the cafeteria, she asked me a few things about myself, like my birthday, religion, favorite movies, shows, etc. I told her that I was Jewish, and that piqued her interest in me since she was a Muslim. She started asking me a bunch of questions like, wait, doesn't that mean a farmer would love you since you can't steal his pigs? Just like me, or why wouldn't my parents let me get a Star of David tattoo on my forehead? I got annoyed with her asking so many questions about my religion, so I tried to change the subject. I asked her about more general topics like siblings, the school she came from. So instead she starts saying, so you're Jewish, don't you speak up about what Israel does to Palestine on social media? It's best to use your voice. Now I get this question about Israel a lot from people online and strangers in real life when they learn I'm Jewish, so it gets annoying fast. I tell her that I was born in New York and had nothing to do with the country of Israel at all. Instead of just dropping the subject entirely, she harasses me even more about it, saying that it was my duty as a Jew to stop the oppression done by other Jews. At this point I am annoyed and tell her to drop the subject entirely or I would stop talking to her. Fatima continued to talk about Israel until I left the lunch room to go to the bathroom. My friends sided with me after they heard the story, but the principal said that I shouldn't have walked out in someone who was curious and didn't mean harm. Am I the asshole for walking out on the girl I was supposed to be touring?
You likely should have left Fatima with faculty, as that wouldn't have landed you in hot water. However, she automatically lost my sympathy with the pig thief comment. It told me she sees you as a Jew, not a person. Not the asshole. Doesn't see you as an individual, she sees an object of politics.
Not the asshole. Your obligation to give her a tour doesn't obligate you to take repeated abuse from a stranger about geopolitical issues. Why she may have been looking for allies, she failed to ascertain your lack of interest and made things very, very awkward. And no, you're not responsible for the actions of Israeli Gov any more than an American Muslim teen is responsible for the actions of the Syrian Gov, for example. Not the asshole. She was being anti-Semitic, and I would advise you to use that word in any further conversation with your principal.
Not the asshole. She was being racist, plain and simple. She is a racist. She wasn't even interested in the school. She was just interested in making racist comments and remarks towards you. I'm sorry you have her for a lot of classes.
Not the asshole. I'm Catholic and you don't see me starting crusades to take back the Holy Land, although I am Italian. Guess I'm starting a crusade. Not the asshole. You clearly did not want to talk about it. She kept going. And who can't figure out why they can't get a Star of David on their forehead? I'm thinking she meant she wanted one, but either way. She didn't realize that's inappropriate? And seriously, not every single Jew is involved with Israel, especially at your age. And to say you have a duty to stop other Jews' oppression? From one Jew to another, no you don't. What exactly would you be able to do anyway? There are far better ways to ask questions if you're curious about a religion without being inappropriate and acting like every single member of that religion has to fix the problems. She should have stopped when you didn't want to talk. Not the asshole. Your principal was wrong, and Fatima wasn't curious, the girl was badgering you. It was inappropriate and rude to keep pushing and prying after you told her you were uncomfortable with her cross-examination. You are not required to sit through her disparaging remarks about your faith just because she is a new student. Not the asshole. That was incredibly rude of her. Not the asshole at all. I am Jewish and I completely relate. I always get the Israeli-Palestinian conflict question. But hello? I live in America? Would you like me to fly over and stop the war myself? It's so ridiculous and close-minded of people to ask that of Jews. If you can't even learn the difference between Jews and Israelis, don't comment on it. Again, NTA. I am mad for you.
Not the asshole. Even if well-meaning, this could be considered a form of religious-based harassment. Assuming you go to a public school, your principal has a legal obligation to prevent it, although it would be fair to require you to report it rather than just walking out on your assignment. In any case, definitely not the asshole.
Not the asshole. This is a form of religious bigotry. It sounds like when you learned about her faith, you didn't start on about all those racist misconceptions about Muslims. Saying all Jews had a duty to stop the oppression done by Jews in an entirely different country is the same as saying all Muslims have a duty to speak out against the oppressive laws against women in Muslim countries. If your principal gives you any more grief about it, write up a report about the harm hidden racism and bigotry can do with a focus on the impact of certain questions asked out of ignorance or misplaced curiosity.
Not the asshole you asked her to stop. She didn't.
At this point I am annoyed and tell her to drop the subject entirely or I would stop talking to her. I say not the asshole. You warned her. NTA is a Muslim myself, she was being an ass.
Not the asshole. I'm a Muslim and Fatima's behavior is unacceptable. She's behaving like Westerners who feel like Muslims need to atone for every terrorist act by Muslim terrorists and condemn them.
Not the asshole. Mu Palestine is often used as a cover for anti-Semitism, and it sounds like this girl is an anti-Semite. If the roles were reversed and you asked her why she didn't use her voice as a Muslim to speak out against KSA's human rights abuses or Islamic extremism, I doubt it would have been explained away as harmless curiosity. Not the asshole. You set a boundary. You asked her to stop. You told her what you would do if she continued. You did nothing wrong. The principal is definitely asshole for not respecting your boundary and being an idiot in this situation.
Not the asshole. Is anyone else getting the vibe that the principal or counselor, or whoever set these two up, put them together because they are both non-Christian? As in, maybe they were worried that a Christian would immediately home in on Fatima being Muslim and possibly harass her? But since Appa's Jewish and therefore other to many people, then they thought it would likely lead to fewer problems. Since, all alienated and marginalized people stick together.
Fatima is an anti-Semite. Not the asshole. You're not the asshole. Your principal is the asshole. Huge ta. When you reported that you were the target of persistent religious harassment, the head administrator at your school told you should suck it up and keep quiet instead of removing yourself from the situation. That is wrong on every level. You handled the situation maturely and appropriately. Talk to your parents about meeting with the principal. Maybe she is teachable. If not, consider escalating to the school superintendent or board. No student should ever be told to deny, cover up, and enable anti-Semitism.
Not the asshole. You told her that you didn't like it. If I were you I would have told an adult, but I don't blame you for just walking out.
Mild everyone sucks here because I think that the girl was absolutely the asshole by not respecting you, and wanting to continue talking about your religion instead of just taking the tour around the school. But you should have dropped her off with the principal or other admin person instead of leaving her. You got in trouble with the principal for leaving her, regardless of what she said to you, possibly because the principal didn't think the girl was being offensive. She was very offensive.
Not the asshole. Her behavior was completely inappropriate. You asked her to stop and she kept pushing. This bodes poorly for her first day touring the school. She already is going to have a rep as someone who won't understand boundaries. You should bring this up to your parents to talk to your principal about his unfair bias. Just because you're in charge of touring people around doesn't mean they get to make you uncomfortable and dismiss your feelings for a debate. Especially one as complicated and volatile as the one with Jewish people and Israel. I am not getting into that on here. I'm so sorry Op. As a fellow Muslim, I apologize for how you were treated. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The problem is that she has prejudices as seen by the pig comment and Star of David tattoo. That itself is an asshole move. I have friends from all religions including Jewish friends and we all get along fine. Because our parents encouraged friends from all faiths. The problem is that this girl is not open-minded, hence her ignorance. Also there is a line between curiosity and boundaries and she crossed it big time. Hope it works out.
Not the asshole. She wouldn't respect your boundaries and you don't need to be accosted by her. Not the asshole. Are you the first Jewish person she's ever met in real life or something? Such inappropriate questions. WTF. People do stuff like this to me sometimes, not as blatantly. See, they're usually surprised I am Jewish. Like yup, contrary to popular belief I don't have horns. What the fuck do people expect? Not the asshole. She wasn't being curious, she was being obnoxious and pushing her agenda. Your principal is wrong.
Not the asshole. I would say only that, after walking out on her, you should have gone to the principal's office to let him know. Just wondering, how many times does the Israeli Gov contact North American Jews to weigh in on their decisions? Not the asshole. As a teenager girl living in Israel and Jewish by the way, I 100% see why you would be bothered by all her questions. Just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you have to have an opinion about the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Not the asshole. Did you let her know that as a Muslim it was her responsibility to stop the oppression done by other Muslims?
It was my duty as a Jew to stop the oppression done by other Jews, so why isn't she helping fight Al-Qaeda or ISIS? Why don't all Christians around the world take up arms against KKK? Not the asshole. People should see you for more than just your religious beliefs.
Not the asshole. I'm a Muslim, and she was way out of line. At 16 I wouldn't have made that comment. At 16 I would have found it rude to ask about someone's religion like that. FYI, I still think it's rude.
Didn't mean harm. Excuse me, WTF. Totally racist. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. Expecting all Jewish people to denounce Israel as anti-Semitic, you are not responsible for the behavior of a government halfway round the world from you. Ask Fatima if she should have to publicly condemn Saudi Arabia or Iran or ISIS on social media just because she's a Muslim? Or should a Buddhist student have to publicly condemn the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar? Or should Hindu students have to publicly condemn Modi? Oh no, wait, they shouldn't, because it's racist to expect people to condemn regimes that they have nothing to do with just because they share a religion. Fatima is wrong, but also young and probably ignorant. Your principal, on the other hand, is totally in the wrong expecting you to put up with that.
Not the asshole. Yikes.
Not the asshole. Although I think you met a real-life Eric Cartman.
Fatima sounds anti-Semitic. Anti-Jewish sentiment can come in many forms, and one of those is expecting individual Jewish individuals to speak for the actions of a nation. Every nation has committed abuses. There has been a recent and alarming rise in anti-Semitism. It sounds like Fatima is part of the problem. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole. She was asked to stop. She continued. She did intend to cause harm by ignoring your reasonable wishes not to discuss politics or religion in a forced setting, i.e. work, school, and you aren't really free to leave. She was harassing you about your religion, and I would probably complain to my parents and have them talk to the school.
I'm sure if it was the other way around and you asked a bunch of unsolicited questions about Muslim religion, she wouldn't have appreciated it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She seems unprincipled. Is she speaking out against any extremism in Islam? Probably not. 'Cause it isn't her fault. Just like Palestine, Israel isn't yours.
Not the asshole. There was fairly clear anti-Semitic subtext to most of those comments, and it's a problem that the principal didn't see that or didn't care. Literally no different to if you'd started telling her she had a duty to stop Islamic terrorist attacks, which is an equivalently stupid assertion. Did you speak to your parents about this? Might be worth raising concern with the principal or higher, because teachers in the school should be aware of various racist tropes and be prepared to deal with them when students express them. I'm not saying Fatima needs to be expelled or anything so dramatic, but I'd have expected a clear conversation to be had with her about how that kind of talk is unacceptable in school. School should have had your back, basically.
Not the asshole. This girl bombarded you with anti-Semitic comments, questions, even being asked to stop. Your principal sucks too.
Man, as a Muslim that fully supports Palestine, even I know that Fatima is being an asshole. This situation is not political at all. Just a dumbass kid.
Outrageous behavior on her part. You were more patient than I would have been. The saddest part is that this kind of hate is what she's being taught at home. Definitely not the asshole, and the principal was dead wrong in her attitude toward this incident.
NTA. You shouldn't have to suffer through that harassment. Your principal is entirely wrong.
Absolutely not the asshole. Tell your principal you asked her politely to stop asking you about your religion more than once, and she continued harassing you because of it. She was very wrong and discriminatory. Speak to your guidance counselor and parents. Her behavior is unacceptable. Not the asshole. She's the one that didn't change the subject, she deserved it. NTA, you have to speak up about Palestine, so I assume she's doing the same and doing all she can to counter the Taliban and ISIS. If she can give it, she should be able to take that.
As another Fatima, I'm utterly mortified by this. Not the asshole for sure. You don't bring up faith to practical strangers anyway, but she was beyond rude to you.